how the hell do you speak 7 languages?
Everyone asks me this, and you know what? I have to say I'm proud of the fact that I do. It wasn't very difficult because I have a natural affinity for languages. I'm gonna say this. I love people, humanity, culture, travel, interacting with different individuals from different backgrounds, because I love to invest in myself, I love to grow, and this is the best way to grow, to travel and to meet people of different origins. And what I've found is that the best way to really connect with a person is to speak their mother tongue, if you can, instead of having them struggle to speak your tongue. So that was the impetus for me to learn different languages. And I can tell you what I learned first, second, third, fourth, fifth.
With that, there's 2 things that for me was super real. Number one, first time I went to France, everybody would tell me, oh, in Paris, they don't like you to when you speak English, they are super rude, blah, blah, blah. So I didn't know, I never been there. So I learned in French 1 sentence. Je ne parle pas français. So every time I had to ask them a question, like look for instructions or directions, I started with that, and that broke the ice immediately, and they were super nice with me. So I never had the bad Parisian experience, and I believe it was because of that. And another thing is, in the future, people are going to translate simultaneously. However, I think, as you said, learning the other person's language will connect in a very different way. If I'm trying to sell you something with a translator, and another person is trying to sell you the same thing, but they took the attention and the time to learn the language, you are going to connect with that person. So I think the language is something, and food, and the language is something that is going to make people more close to each other in the future.
Absolutely, it's all about that, you know, just like food is an international and a universal language, so is music, but words that evoke feelings.
Exactly.
That's a language, and it's just so important when 2 people speak the same language.
And Google Translator is not that good.
Yeah, not always. You can get into a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
You can get into a lot of trouble using Google Translate and not spell checking and reviewing before it's launched to the receiver of that message.
So which language do you speak?
Well, I always say I speak everything in Western Europe except for Norwegian, Swedish, and Dutch, and Portuguese. So it means I speak English, obviously, French, Spanish, Danish, German, Italian, some Creole, because I was born in the Caribbean in an island where they also speak Creole. And now I'm learning Turkish, which I'm very excited about. So that will be language number 8.
And why Turkish right now?
Because I travel a lot to Turkey, and I've fallen in love with the country, everything about it. So for me, again, in order for me to connect with the locals, in order for me to get things done faster and in a more efficient way, learning their language has just been the best form of communication for all different levels of Turks in every different industry that I get to interact with.
And how do you started to speak Danish? Because only people in Denmark speaks Danish. So why that's so specific?
Well, you know what? Thanks to my mom and my dad as well, but more so my mom and her foresight. I was at a convent in high school, and someone from this exchange program came to St. Lucia, and they were offering the opportunity for very good students, meaning students who were very adept scholastically, all-rounded and well-rounded, and adept at their work with better grades, of course, and whose families could afford to allow them to go away for a year. They wanted to interview those students and see if there was an interest to travel to a country of their choice. They gave us about 5 choices. It was like Norway, Ecuador, Quebec, Puerto Rico, let's say maybe, and Denmark. And I wanted to have an experience that was very different from the one that I knew growing up in St. Lucia. And I didn't want it to be so different as to go to Norway, because they would send you to like the north part of Norway. So I said, Denmark seems to be a happy medium. And we chose Denmark.
A happy medium between St. Lucia and Norway?
And Norway, exactly, right? Not Puerto Rico, right? But Denmark. And so, yeah, it was great. I mean, I had already spoken Spanish. So I was like, okay, I don't want to go to a Latin country. I don't want to go to a Spanish-speaking country. I want something different, something that's going to help me evolve. And Denmark, I'm telling you, being part of Scandinavia is another world. It's another planet. The lifestyle there is so different that it really helped me to evolve, and that was where I learned German. So it was just great, and I mean, I could never regret one moment. Even the parts about that journey that were not the most pleasant parts helped me to evolve as a person. So I'm thrilled that I had that opportunity, thanks to my parents.